And then the man who, piloted the ship and, had, not an eye patch, but he had stitches, but, futuristic stitches. So he had to put a, metal on his fucking face. You know, he is also a bounty hunter. He knows how to, pilot spacecraft. Nigga, they're living in the times of 2070. My grandson, nigga, your grandson, nigga, your, descendants will be on some shit like this. And you say, cool, like me, don't be a bitch. You know, Jet is a guy who works on the, craft that they use to like get around the solar system. And he used to be, somebody else. I think he was like an informant or a, guy kind of like Spike is right now when he was younger. You know, he did some, shadier shit, worked for a group, some bandit shit. Not bandit, but mercenary type shit. But he kind of since, put that shit up and like let Spike do it, But he still has the skills with the gun and like he's, an older guy, so he's like tough too. He knows how to fix ships and other things. He's experienced with, shit like that. Um, he, is a great pilot and he's a great friend for Spike Spiegel. You have to watch the show and know that that guy is, a decent combatant too, but not like, Spike. So Jet, his strength's a 94 with the 84 for his speed, a 92 for his durability, and a 95 for his endurance, and then 86 for his intelligence, and a 93 for his experience, with a 89 for his close skills, and then a 95 for his range skills, 91 for his recoup, and then a 90 for his hacks. So the overall power score is a 90.9 for Jet. Jet, no, Jet, he's there for Spike Spiegel, at all times, mostly, when he worries about when he goes out and, if he takes like another spacecraft or like a miniature spacecraft, he's there, be back here at this time, you know, some of that money is also for me too, because, you're staying here and, we've been doing this thing together, and Spike's like, yeah, it's cool, let me stay here, and then, you are, piloting this thing. It makes sense. And, I like to eat too, and he's like, yes, and I like to eat too. And they're just great friends and shit, But Be Cool Claw in the corner, that was his, like, power skill. And you gotta, watch Cowboy Bebop to be,